Have you ever noticed how people react when they see a younger man walking side by side with an older woman? Some glance quickly and look away, some whisper, some even judge. But then there are others who smile because deep down, they understand something that many still deny. Love doesn't care about numbers, and attraction doesn't play by society's rules. Younger men are drawn to older women in ways that are powerful, natural, and undeniable. And once you understand why, it doesn't feel surprising at all. It feels like the most human thing in the world. I remember the first time a younger friend of mine confessed his preference. He was in his late 20s, sitting across from me with a casual drink in hand, when he said with complete honesty, "I think I'm done with girls my age." They're fun, sure, but older women? They're different. They know who they are. They're grounded. That statement wasn't about fantasy. It wasn't about stereotypes. It was about something deeper, something real. And it made me realize this isn't just a trend. It's a truth many men are living, but few openly admit. So let's talk about it. Why do younger men love older women? The first and perhaps most obvious reason is confidence. Confidence is magnetic, and an older woman carries it differently. She doesn't walk into a room seeking validation. She doesn't need to. She's lived through enough storms to know her worth. She owns her presence. She doesn't beg for attention, but she gets it anyway because her energy radiates strength. Younger men feel that immediately. When you're still figuring out who you are, there's something intoxicating about someone who already knows. But confidence alone doesn't explain it all. There's also honesty. Older women don't have time for games. They've been through heartbreaks, disappointments, toxic relationships, and lessons that shaped them. They've learned what matters and what doesn't, and when they choose to be with someone, it's intentional. For younger men, who often feel drained by the endless cycle of ghosting, mixed signals, and shallow dating culture, this kind of clarity feels refreshing. It feels like peace. And then comes the physical side of attraction, which is far more complex than people assume. Society tries to convince us that youth is the only form of beauty worth admiring, but younger men are breaking that narrative. They see something different, something more authentic. They notice the way an older woman carries herself with elegance, the way she speaks with authority, the way her laughter fills a space with warmth. It's not about pretending to be 20 again, it's about embracing who she is right now. That authenticity makes her magnetic. That self-acceptance makes her glow. One younger man once told me, "With an older woman, I don't feel like I have to prove myself in silly ways. She doesn't judge me for the wrong shoes I'm wearing or the fact that I'm still figuring out my career. She respects me for who I am, and that makes me want to grow." And that's another secret of this attraction. It's not just about who she is, it's about how she makes him feel. Because older women inspire growth. They challenge younger men to rise, to expand, to mature, not by nagging or forcing, but by simply existing as proof that life keeps getting better if you keep learning. For a younger man still navigating the storms of adulthood, that inspiration feels priceless. It's not just about romance, it's about transformation. But maybe the most powerful reason younger men love older women is emotional connection. Older women carry stories. They've been through love, heartbreak, healing, triumph, loss, and everything in between. When they open up, younger men don't just hear words, they hear wisdom, resilience, and lived truth. And that creates a connection that feels stronger than mere physical chemistry. It feels like being invited into a world of meaning, a world they haven't yet fully lived themselves. There's also freedom. Older women often let go of rigid social expectations. They don't cling to outdated rules about what a relationship should look like. They don't measure love by money, titles, or appearances. They've moved beyond all that, and it gives them the freedom to create a relationship that feels authentic. For younger men, this freedom is liberating. They don't feel pressured to perform according to someone else's script. They feel like they can breathe, like they can be themselves. And yes, society sometimes stares. People whisper. They make comments like, "Why would he date someone older?" Or, "Isn't that unusual?" But here's the twist. The more outside judgment these couples face, the stronger their bond often becomes. Because defending your love to the world makes you value it even more deeply. And younger men who love older women often don't care what anyone else thinks, because what they feel is real. Another layer people rarely acknowledge is mentorship. Not in the literal sense, but in the sense of life perspective. Younger men admire the way older women handle challenges, the way they've survived setbacks, the way they've turned pain into wisdom. Being with someone who has lived longer, who has insights and strength, feels like being with someone who expands their view of the world. It's not about dependency, it's about respect. It's about admiration. Now let's talk about intimacy because that's another powerful piece of this puzzle. Younger men often find intimacy with older women more fulfilling. Why? Because older women know themselves. They know what they want, what they enjoy, and what truly matters in a connection. They're not afraid to communicate openly. That level of comfort and honesty takes intimacy to a level most younger men have never experienced before. And once they experience it, they don't want to go back. I think that's what makes this dynamic so beautiful. It challenges the stereotypes we've been taught about age and love. It forces us to realize that attraction doesn't follow rules. Love doesn't care if one person is 35 and the other is 50. What love cares about is connection, chemistry, energy, trust, and honesty. So, when you see a younger man and an older woman together, don't assume it's about money or novelty or rebellion. Often, it's about something much deeper. It's about the younger man finally finding the clarity, honesty, and connection he's been searching for. It's about the older woman embracing someone who sees her not as a number, but as a person. Someone radiant, powerful, and alive. And maybe that's the lesson for all of us, that love isn't supposed to fit into neat little boxes. It's supposed to challenge, to surprise, to break rules, and to expand our understanding of what it means to connect. Younger men love older women because they've discovered what many still overlook. Real attraction isn't about age, it's about energy. It's about two souls seeing each other clearly, without pretense, without masks. At the end of the day, the world can say what it wants, but younger men who fall in love with older women know the truth. They're not looking at wrinkles or birthdays. They're looking at the fire in her eyes, the wisdom in her heart, and the authenticity in her soul. And that kind of connection, that kind of love, it's timeless. So maybe the real question isn't why younger men love older women. Maybe the real question is, why wouldn't they?